Hey everybody, Shimmer here. I wanted to see what I could do to make the wait for the first episode of Purraculous more entertaining, so I thought of a challenge for the Purraculous Discord server to do. So without further ado, I asked the Purraculous server to write short stories based on their knowledge of the characters so far. Just want to point out, these are not real. These are fan works by fans and in no way are canon to the actual story of Purraculous. There are 2 chosen stories. Full credit to Sunkiss Melody for the first wonderful submission. Flowerpaw breathed in deeply, closing her eyes as scents and sounds of the forest whirled around her. She opened her eyes again, glancing up to the sky where the sun's rays filtered through the branches. It's almost sun high. Almost time for me, Redpaw, Goldenpaw, and Beepaw to take her warrior assessments, she thought eagerly. I can't wait to be a warrior, especially with Goldenpaw. The she-cat smiled at the thought. However, her thoughts distracted her, and a few heartbeats later, she tripped over a large branch. "Ah!" she exclaimed, tumbling on the earth before crashing into a bush. "Ouch," she groaned, peeking her head out the top of the bush. "Girl, you need to watch where you're going," Redpaw mewed as she padded through the undergrowth. Goldenpaw, Beepaw, and Bluedrop followed behind her. Goldenpaw trotted over to Flowerpaw. "Let me help you out, Flowerpaw." The Golden Tom grabbed her scruff, giving a grunt as he hauled her out of the branches. The 2 cats landed on the ground with a thump, Goldenpaw panting softly. Flowerpaw rose to her paws. "Thank you, Goldenpaw," she stuttered, her cheeks a light pink. "Yeah, no problem," he replied. Behind them, Beepaw scowled, her eyes sparkling with jealousy. Redpaw narrowed her eyes at Beepaw, a smirk on her maw. Flowerpaw turned to the rest of the group. Bluedrop cleared his throat. "Alright, let's get this patrol over with so we can get back in time for your guys' assessments." The group continued along the edge of the territory. Suddenly, Flowerpaw heard a noise nearby. She glanced around the group of cats. Clearly no one else had heard it. "I'm gonna go check something out. I'll catch up with you guys at camp." The cats all nodded as she swerved off the path, heading into the shrubs and bushes. Flowerpaw slowed to a stop as she heard a rustle and the crunch of leaves, a female and male laugh, and purrs of joy. She pricked an ear, crouching down and crawling closer. Soon enough, she reached the source of the sound and peeked through some long grass. Her eyes widened as she witnessed a heartbreaking scene. Turtlepaw and Lizardpaw were tussling with each other and lying on the forest floor, but it wasn't ordinary play fighting. They stared into each other's eyes with deep affection, and occasionally touched noses too. They even twined tails at points. Her eyes widened, a lump growing in her stomach and the taste on her tongue turning sour. Oh no, poor Goldenpaw and Redpaw. They'll be devastated, especially Redpaw. I've got to stop this. Flowerpaw burst through the long grass, her tail lashing and her eyes burning with rage. "How dare you!" she spat, growling. The 2 cats immediately got off each other. "Just wait until Redpaw and Goldenpaw hear about this." Her eyes pinned back as she turned tail and sprinted back to camp, running as fast as she ever had before. Her friends had to know. Flowerpaw arrived at camp a few heartbeats later, bursting through the camp entrance, ignoring the thorns that scraped at her fur. She scrambled to a stop, kicking up some dust. Her eyes glazed with panic. She scoured the camp, searching for Redpaw and Goldenpaw. She saw them standing beside the prey pile, their fur prickling with worry. Flowerpaw raced over to them, her hackles raised. "There's something you need to hear, both of you." Redpaw and Goldenpaw glanced at each other, worried. "What is it?" Redpaw asked. Flowerpaw took a few deep breaths, glancing back and forth between the 2 apprentices. "It's about Turtlepaw and Lizardpaw." She glanced at her paws, her head whirling with emotions. "I saw them together. They weren't acting like friends." She ignored the shocked looks from Goldenpaw and Redpaw and continued. "In the forest, alone. It seemed like regular play fighting, but..." Flowerpaw looked away sadly as the 2 apprentices' faces filled with betrayal. "No," Redpaw choked out, her eyes brimming with tears. Goldenpaw's eyes glistened with sadness, and it made poor Flowerpaw's heart break even more. A moment later, Lizardpaw and Turtlepaw burst through the camp entrance, slowing to a halt as they panted. They both looked up, stiffening as they noticed the expressions on Goldenpaw and Redpaw's faces. Redpaw stormed over to them, tears streaming down her cheeks. "How could you?" she gabbled, eyes burning with hatred. "I loved you, and you go and betray me like this. I hate you, both of you!" Goldenpaw shook his maw sadly, glaring at Lizardpaw. Redpaw turned tail and raced into the apprentice's den, sobbing. Goldenpaw gave one last glance towards Lizardpaw before following behind Redpaw. As Turtlepaw and Lizardpaw tried to follow them, Flowerpaw stepped in front of them. "You've done enough," she hissed. The two cats gave each other a side look before turning tail and heading back out to the forest. "It's better they don't stay in camp," Flowerpaw thought. She sat down in the middle of camp, tail curled tightly around her paws and her ears dripping. Flowerpaw glanced up to the sky where the sun was finally dipping fully behind the horizon. As the stars of silver pellet started to appear, the she-cat glanced up to the sky, a few tears falling down her face. "Starklin, how could you let this happen?" She wiped her cheek with her paw. Letting her emotions get the best of her, she sobbed. Bluedrop soon came beside her and sat down beside Flowerpaw, letting the apprentice cry against his fur. "Why?" And that was Sunkiss Melody's story. The next amazing submission is by Emerald Aurora. And there it was, the perfect vessel for such an anguish-thirsty Akuma. A distressed, pain-filled cat wallowing in a metaphorical puddle of stress and tears, sitting under a wilting tree. Although I could not properly see my victim, I knew exactly how I could manipulate it. Anger practically radiated off of it. I could almost taste it. My Akumas wordlessly begged me for a taste of such misery. I had to. I could not resist. Fly, oh precious Akuma. Harness these strong emotions and create something so much bigger. It flew away, eager to prey on the disaster who was now frustratedly digging its claws into the coarse earth beneath the tree it was sitting under. The cat tore a large stone out from underneath the dirt and threw it in the air and caught it. "Why me? Why me?" Such a common question often left unanswered. "Greetings, Elemental. I am Hawkmoth." Angry tears started forming around the corners of the cat's eyes. "What?" "They deceived you. They punished you for doing right. They left you to be swallowed by feelings of unneeded guilt. Did you deserve this?" "No." "Good. I am giving you the power to bring justice to yourself. With such strength, you can achieve the once thought to be impossible. All I ask for is one small favor." The cat seemed to relax very slightly. It was listening. Excellent. "Certainly. What are your demands, sir?" "Call me Hawkmoth. I ask for this: Ladybug and Catmore's Purraculous, the ring and the earrings." "Of course." I couldn't resist a small victory chuckle. I had such a good feeling about this one. She would be the one to retrieve the Purraculous. "Actually," I froze. "She was meant to have transformed." "What? Is there a problem?" The cat grinned. "You think I need powers to do this?" "What are you implying?" She licked her paw casually and drew it over her ear. "Oh, please. I know what sort you are, and I'm here to finally prove I'm not the weakling they all thought I was. You are useless to me." And that was Emerald Aurora's submission. Thank you to everyone who submitted. They were all so amazing, and I had a very hard time choosing just two. I might do another one of these soon, but for now, enjoy the rest of the speed paint.